Lisa Kelly, and I'm an ice road trucker, and I've been driving trucks for 9 years. And on ice.
Out on ice road truckers, the highway isn't asphalt. It's a sheet of ice stretching across frozen lakes and rivers. One wrong move, one crack beneath the tires, and everything can change in an instant. For years, viewers have watched fearless drivers push through the Arctic's brutal conditions. But the real friction wasn't always on the ice. Behind the scenes, tempers flared and rivalries grew. Today, we're diving into the 5 truckers who had some of the biggest clashes with Lisa Kelly and what really fueled those conflicts. Let's get into it. Number 5. Rick Yemm.
All right, you're gonna have to, holy crap. Excuse my voice because I just got over a little bit of a cold.
In the year 2010, the Ice Road Truckers franchise took a dramatic turn. The team left the frozen highways of the North and launched a spin-off that felt like another universe entirely. Ice Road Truckers, Deadliest Roads, sent Lisa Kelly, Rick Yemm, and Alex Debogorski into the heart of the Himalayas to tackle roads that looked like they belonged in nightmares. These were cliffs with 1,000-foot drops, narrow ledges called the cutouts, chaos-filled traffic, and twisting paths carved into mountainsides with no railings. It was survival, not just trucking. And for Lisa and veteran driver Rick Yemm, it sparked a conflict that would burn long after the cameras stopped rolling. On screen, viewers could practically feel the tension between the two. The pressure of the environment only made everything worse. But the real explosion didn't happen on the cliff sides of India. It came 2 years later. In a 2012 interview, Rick Yemm unleashed a fierce list of accusations aimed directly at Lisa Kelly. He tried to rewrite her image entirely, painting her not as the humble, fearless driver fans loved, but as someone who acted like a diva behind the scenes. Yemm claimed she brings a manager to do all her fights. If she doesn't want to drive, he tells them she won't drive, and she stays in the hotel. And he didn't stop there. He made what he clearly believed was the harshest accusation of all, that he had discovered she wasn't driving for most of the show's dangerous moments. According to him, whenever things became risky, Lisa backed out. He even challenged her and G.W. Boles to a real driving contest, without the involvement of production, to prove who the truly skilled drivers were. It was obvious Rick felt he had been cast as the hothead, while Lisa was given the hero role. He complained, "I went to India without one accident, not even a scratch." Did they show that? No, because that's not my character. But his accusations didn't match what viewers had watched. In episode 3, Facing Fears, Lisa was shown confronting her terror of the ledge, the very same spot that caused her to panic in a previous run. Instead of avoiding it, she drove it again on purpose. Even when a flat tire left her swaying above a 1,000-foot drop, she kept going. Her courage was unmistakable. The most devastating rebuttal to Yemm's claims came in the season finale, Explosive Cargo. The final mission required hauling volatile jet fuel up the deadly Rutang Pass to reach stranded workers. The situation was so extreme that Rick Yemm and Dave Redmond turned back, deciding it was far too dangerous. Lisa Kelly, however, pushed forward alone. She became the only North American driver to complete every mission of the entire season. When the danger peaked, Lisa didn't quit. She was the one still driving. There was no denying that Rick and Lisa's dynamic had completely collapsed. Yemm's interview showed how deep his resentment ran, especially toward production. He believed he was given a bad edit while Lisa was portrayed as the brave star. Throughout the season, their differences only grew sharper. They snapped at each other over routes, argued over loads, and often refused to ride together. Behind the scenes, according to cast members, their tension was exactly as real as what viewers saw. Rick brought a huge, loud personality that didn't bend easily. Lisa brought determination and a quiet toughness that would never let her step aside. Cameras, it was the kind of conflict that producers love. Raw, unpredictable, and impossible to smooth over. By the time the dust settled, Rick wasn't just upset with Lisa. He was angry at the entire reality TV machine. But for Lisa Kelly, this feud became a reminder that even off the ice, battles don't end easily. She had built her reputation on grit, courage, and capability. Now she was fighting to protect her name against criticism from someone who once stood beside her. Yemm's accusations hit at the heart of her career, her bravery, and her integrity. And unfortunately, he wasn't the last Ice Road Truckers cast member who had unresolved issues with Lisa Kelly. Number 4. Hugh Rowland. Hugh Rowland, the man viewers came to know as the Polar Bear, was without question one of the toughest veterans ever to take on the frozen roads. From the very first season of Ice Road Truckers, Hugh made it clear that he belonged to the old-school world of trucking. Strong opinions, zero patience for weakness, and an attitude forged through decades of surviving Canada's brutal winter roads. So when Lisa Kelly stepped into that world, a young woman from Alaska trying to prove herself, it was obvious that their paths would clash. Their personalities couldn't have been more different. Hugh had a lifetime of experience and a stubborn belief that respect must be earned the hard way. Lisa, on the other hand, was determined, sharp, and unwilling to back down. It wasn't about her skill, she was good. It was about the invisible walls Hugh had built around what he thought the ice road should be. Later, Lisa confirmed this tension in an interview. When asked about the challenges she faced as one of the few women in the industry, she openly named Hugh Rowland as someone who had given her a particularly hard time. She talked about the dismissive comments, the lack of respect, and the constant pressure to prove she belonged. But Lisa wasn't the type to shrink away. She fought back with humor, confidence, and grit, turning disrespect into a duel she refused to lose. Things escalated during the second season when multiple seasoned drivers quit, leaving Lisa and Hugh alone in the unforgiving roads of Bolivia's infamous Death Road. With sheer cliffs on one side and disaster on the other, their simmering rivalry had nowhere to hide. Every disagreement felt magnified. Every icy mile pushed their patience thinner. What started as personal dislike evolved into a full-blown battle of pride and professionalism. When the series returned to Canada in the 7th season, their rivalry took on a new form. Hugh had become co-owner of VP Express, while Lisa drove for Polar Industries, direct competitors. Now, their feud wasn't only personal, it was financial. Loads, profit, reputation. Their teams were fighting for the same survival. Viewers saw this rivalry explode when Hugh's new driver, Art Burke, broke down miles from Winnipeg and Hugh's company left him stranded. It was a harsh reminder of how cutthroat life on the ice truly was. Throughout it all, Lisa refused to be broken. She stayed strong, handled her loads with precision, and used each delivery to prove she was not just capable, she was elite. While Hugh represented the old guard who believed she didn't belong, Lisa kept showing that she deserved every mile she drove. And although their feud never ended with a handshake or a heartfelt apology, there were glimpses of mutual respect. Even Hugh had moments where he acknowledged Lisa's drive, courage, and skill on the deadliest roads in the world. The cameras often highlighted their conflicts, but beneath the rivalry, it was clear that Lisa Kelly shaped part of Hugh Rowland's legacy, and he shaped hers. They never truly saw eye to eye, but together their clash became one of the defining dynamics of Ice Road Truckers. Hugh tested her, Lisa pushed back, and the Ice Road witnessed every moment of it. Number 3. Dave Redmond.
Buy a few groceries and saw the storm clouds moving in.
Dave Redmond and Rick Yemm had one thing in common. Both insisted that producers shape them into villains. For them, it wasn't just reality television, it was a scripted battlefield where someone had to take the fall. In the 5th season of Ice Road Truckers, that role landed squarely on the shoulders of Dave Redmond. The Alabama trucker arrived in Fairbanks with plenty of confidence. And though his time on the Dalton Highway was brief, it did not take long for clashes to erupt on screen. Redmond quickly found himself butting heads with his veteran trainer, Tony Molesky. Their disagreements weren't minor spats. They were intense confrontations over Redmond's shifting technique, stubbornness, and attitude. Things escalated so badly that Tony eventually abandoned Redmond at a truck stop in Coldfoot. By the end of the season, Redmond was fired on camera, the show blaming his performance and inability to cooperate with the team. However, Dave Redmond had a very different version of events. After filming wrapped, he went on a run of interviews claiming the character viewers saw was entirely manufactured. According to him, the villain on TV was nothing more than a production-created persona. He stated, "They scripted me to be the bad guy, and they scripted me to get fired." In another interview, he doubled down. "What you see on TV is so far from the truth, it's unreal." And where does Lisa Kelly fit into all of this? Surprisingly, she doesn't. Even though both appeared on IRT, Deadliest Roads in India, there is no evidence of direct conflict between them. The episodes show them dealing with different dangers, and often on completely separate assignments. Lisa battled tension with her local spotter, Tashi, while Redmond struggled with overweight loads and aggressive traffic. Their paths didn't cross in a way that created personal drama. Their perceived rivalry came from something else entirely: association. Dave Redmond was portrayed as the antagonist, while Lisa Kelly became the face of competence and grit. His on-screen failures naturally amplified her strengths. Add in the fact that Redmond aligned himself with Yemm, someone already at odds with Lisa, and the narrative practically wrote itself. Both Redmond and Yemm turned back from the final, dangerous jet fuel run in the Himalayas, a mission Lisa completed alone. This moment cemented their identity as the two drivers who retreated while she pushed through. When they returned for the second season of Deadliest Roads in Bolivia, they bonded further as the duo who rejected production entirely, later claiming to have quit due to unsafe gear and ongoing backstage disputes. The truth is simple. Dave Redmond never had any personal feud with Lisa Kelly. His fight was always with the production team, whom he believed destroyed his reputation for ratings. Yet his frustration inevitably spilled over onto Lisa. She represented everything he felt the show denied him: admiration, respect, and a heroic edit. Although she never directly attacked him, her carefully chosen words in interviews made it clear that their working dynamic was never smooth. In the end, their conflict wasn't built on arguments or confrontations, but on the storylines crafted around them. Redmond became the villain by default, and Lisa Kelly became the moral center of the series. He viewed himself as collateral damage in a narrative shaped by others, and because of that, she became the rival he resented without ever truly knowing her. Number 2. G.W. Boles.
Volvo, one of Britain's brand new trucks that they're making, and it's blue, my favorite color, so I'm ready.
The breathtaking yet unforgiving world of the Andes Mountains became a defining chapter for the next figure on this list. In IRT, Deadliest Roads. Season 2, the rugged routes of Bolivia and Peru set the stage for one of the show's most fascinating and uneasy pairings. After Yemm and Dave Redmond made their early exit, the production team urgently needed someone to fill the gap. Their solution was G.W. Boles, an experienced Texas hauler with decades on American highways, but absolutely no history on the legendary death roads. From the moment he arrived, his dynamic with Lisa Kelly carried tension. Boles was far from a newcomer in trucking, yet he was a complete novice in a world where a single miscalculation could send a truck tumbling down a mountainside. Lisa had already endured an intense season in India's Himalayas, and she knew better than anyone that respect on these roads wasn't given. It was earned through survival. Right from their first ride together, the unease was noticeable. Lisa remained courteous, but made it clear she wasn't about to hand him control of the truck. She understood the stakes too well. At those dizzying altitudes, one wrong judgment could cost both of them their lives. In the episode Oxygen Required, Lisa assigned Boles the spotter role while she stayed behind the wheel, a decision rooted not in ego, but pure caution. Weeks passed with this arrangement in place. Lisa took charge of the twisting ledges, narrow passages, and thin mountain paths that barely accommodated their tires. Meanwhile, Boles scanned for falling rocks, watched tunnel openings, and managed chaotic local traffic. Buses, herds, motorcycles, and everything in between. For a driver used to being in command, it was humbling, yet he embraced the role without protest. Slowly, he observed, learned, and waited for a chance to prove himself. That moment arrived in Desert Disaster. This time, the challenge was in Peru. Steep, sandy cliffs, where even the slightest slide could mean disaster. Lisa finally decided it was time to test him. Handing over the wheel was not a casual decision. It was a gamble with real consequences. As cameras captured every second, Boles gripped the wheel with determination. Minutes later, he found himself skidding dangerously close to the edge, a chilling reminder that these roads required more than just traditional experience. Yet Boles didn't fold under the pressure. He steadied himself, stayed focused, and managed to regain control. Mile by mile, Lisa's confidence in him grew. That progress later paid off during one of their hardest missions, the Dead Nun Canyon in Bolivia. The two were now operating like a unified team, navigating hand-carved mountain tunnels barely wider than their oversized cargo. They crossed fragile bridges that groaned beneath the truck's weight and delivered a load of energetic bulls to a local festival without incident. What started as a hesitant partnership slowly transformed into mutual respect. The earlier power struggle faded as GW proved he could shoulder the pressure, and Lisa demonstrated that leadership did not have to be domineering. She struck the perfect balance, holding on at the right moments and stepping back when trust had been earned. Their story didn't rely on shouting matches or dramatic confrontations. Instead, it was built on shared danger, steady communication, and the gradual formation of trust. What began with unease and uncertainty ended with one of the season's strongest partnerships. A lesson in how a shaky alliance can evolve into something far more powerful when both sides choose to believe in each other. Number 2. Daryl Ward.
Describe ice road trucking in one word. Badass.
The final trucker on this list began almost the same way as the previous one, with tension that eventually transformed into one of the most unexpected partnerships on the show. This story unfolded on the dangerous winter roads of Manitoba, where Daryl Ward was a dominant force. The Montana legend was known for his charm, bold risk-taking, and fiercely independent spirit. He constantly challenged the big trucking companies and, for years, stood as one of Lisa Kelly's strongest competitors. They often chased the same loads, drove the same deadly routes, and were routinely positioned as rivals for the sake of the show. In many ways, Daryl was one of Lisa's toughest opponents on the ice. But in Season 9, everything changed. After leaving his job out of frustration, Daryl took a leap of faith and launched his own trucking company. And in a twist that stunned viewers, he chose not an old friend or a new recruit to join him. He chose his rival. It became one of the biggest moments in the entire series. As the show's biography put it, when her friend Daryl Ward offered up a piece of his new company, Lisa jumped at the opportunity. He did not just hire her. He made her a partial owner. It was the ultimate sign of respect in an industry where respect is rare and always earned. Her fiercest competitor was now placing his entire business in her hands. Their partnership reshaped the show. For 2 seasons, they worked together, tackling new challenges, from Alberta's terrifying death road to hauling loads while trying to grow a business from the ground up. The rivalry that once fueled competition now powered a shared ambition. For Lisa, this partnership was another milestone in her career, solid proof that her critics had underestimated her from the very beginning. If someone like Daryl Ward believed in her, the negativity from others, such as Hugh Rowland, meant little. However, their promising journey ended far too soon. In August of 2016, shortly after season 10 wrapped, Daryl Ward tragically died in a plane crash. The news devastated fans and shook the trucking community. For Lisa, it was an especially painful loss. She later shared that the reality didn't fully hit until she returned to work and realized he was gone. She suddenly had to handle everything Daryl once managed, carrying their shared dream alone. Lisa honored his memory by returning for season 11 and running the company they built. She later took Daryl's son, Reno, under her wing, teaching him the skills his father had once trusted her with. Though their relationship began in fierce rivalry, it evolved into one of the most meaningful professional bonds in her story. Through these 5 rivals, Hugh Rowland, Rick Yemm, Dave Redmond, G.W. Boles, and Daryl Ward, Lisa faced every kind of battle. She dealt with disrespect, survived smear attempts, and rose above manufactured drama. She confronted egos, endured competition, and responded with resilience every single time. And by doing so, she cemented her legacy in a field where women make up only a very small percentage of the workforce. She proved that determination has nothing to do with gender. To many fans, Lisa Kelly became much more than a driver. She became a symbol of endurance. On the harsh ice roads, where split-second mistakes could be fatal, she stood strong through snowstorms, whiteouts, cracking lakes, and the most dangerous mountain passes on Earth. She earned viewers' admiration not by shouting or fighting, but by showing steady courage where it mattered most. Behind the scenes, Lisa faced an entirely different challenge: the pressures of reality television. For over a decade, every mile of her life was filmed, analyzed, and sometimes twisted into drama. The long shooting seasons, conflicts created for entertainment, and constant scrutiny slowly began to wear her down. In 2017, after more than 10 years on camera, she stepped away from the spotlight and quietly returned to her life in Wasilla, Alaska. In Alaska, she found peace. With her husband, Travis Kelly, and her beloved animals, she embraced a slower life, far from the chaos of icy highways and dramatic showdowns. Her career had taken her across some of the most dangerous roads on the planet: the Dalton Highway, the Himalayas, and the Andes, each with its own terrifying challenges. But off-camera, she was navigating equally treacherous emotional territory: rivalry, competition, and public expectations. Ultimately, her greatest accomplishment wasn't on the ice or in the ratings. It was her ability to stay grounded through fame, conflict, and extreme pressure, and to walk away with grace when she was ready. Lisa Kelly's legacy is one of quiet strength, determination, and dignity. She showed the world that real toughness is not just surviving the worst roads, but also knowing when to prioritize peace over pressure. Her image, focused, fearless, gripping the wheel as the wind roars across a frozen lake, remains one of the most powerful symbols of courage ever seen on reality television.
So that's it for now, guys. So stay safe, stay warm, and see you guys next time. Over now.
What do you think about everything Lisa Kelly went through on and off the ice? From rivalries to respect, from danger to determination, her journey has sparked countless conversations among fans. So let us know your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your take on her story and which part stood out the most to you. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button, follow the page, and subscribe to the channel so you never miss another story like this. And before you head out, feel free to check out the other videos now appearing on your screen. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.